So I'm here representing this action. It's called Cryptacus, which is the short name for something a little bit more complicated, which is cryptoanalysis in ubiquitous computing systems, basically in IoT. Yes, that's my name, Professor Julio-Hernandez Castro. I work at the University of Kent, School of Computing. I work in computer security, actually, that's my topic. And yeah, I received some funding from COST. I'm speaking, on behalf of COST, and this is part of the Horizon 2020 European framework. So if you happen to be, like me, an academic, it's probably time to reconsider your poor choices in life, but also the idea is that I'm here to try to convince you to apply for funding for COST. Why COST? Sorry, the chair of this action is a professor in France called Gilles Zavoine, and I'm, let's say, the number two, the vice chair. So we had this idea, and we were thinking about other funding means. So we are both familiar with Horizon 2020, like the classical calls. We have been both successful with that, thank God, in the past. But we tried COST, and COST is different. And at the beginning, I was a little bit reluctant because they don't fund research proper. What they do is that they have a completely different approach, and what they fund is people exchanging ideas, meeting on a physical location, traveling to some place, organizing a conference, a meeting, organizing a summer school or a training school, but not the research itself, not the materials, not your PhD students, not your research assistants. But they will give money to your research assistants or your PhD or yourself to go and visit some other lab across Europe, or, well, for that matter, across the world probably, and spend there a week or a month, I think up to 3 months. And the good thing about the whole approach is it's relatively lightweight in terms of bureaucracy, of writing up and justifying things and receipts and paperwork. And that's something that I really appreciate. I don't like paperwork at all, and COST is light on that. Anyway, so the objectives of this action were to improve the state of the art in IoT security, but with a kind of direct approach based on cryptanalysis. So we divided the main objectives into 4 to see what we should aspire to and establish this security and privacy model. So regarding security, what is what we want? And regarding privacy, what is what we want? And then let's try to get closer to that. Improving cryptanalysis. We have some of the best cryptanalysts in Europe and hence the world in our network. You will see that in a second. Develop and improve the knowledge of side channel attacks and reverse engineering as well. And then apply all that to real world systems, not stay within theory and just publish a very nice paper, theoretical paper with lots of mathematical equations. No, let's try and really break things, because it's the best way to make a manufacturer stop ignoring us and improve their products and patch their products and give a firmware update or advanced change recommendations or the software to their customers, and hence make all the customers benefit from an improved security. So that was the idea, and of course, for that we divided this into 4 work packages. And each work package has a leader and a vice leader, and we have people from all across Europe, and again, here you have some of the best let's say, criminal minds in Europe in the area of cryptography and cryptanalysis. So, for example, Professor Serge Vaudenet in Switzerland, in EPFL, Frederick Anhert in Germany, Andrei Bogdanov in Denmark, in Copenhagen, Mirek Kutilovsky in Poland, some of the best guys there is. They are working on security and privacy models and cryptoanalysis of protocols and primitives, oriented towards IoT, so lightweight, new solutions that are, that you can embed in the constrained processors and don't consume a lot of power and don't require a lot of mathematical computations. And then we have security engineering on hardware and software. You have there Professor Leila Batina from Radboud University in the Netherlands. She's a super expert in physical attacks. Ricardo Chaves from Portugal. And then attacking real-world systems, we had Flavio Garcia from the UK in the University of Birmingham, and Alex Biryukov from Luxembourg, who is a legendary, some of these are already legendary, but Alex Biryukov is particularly legendary. You might know him because he published some recent papers on Bitcoin, the anonymization, and on the cost of implementing the 51% attack against basically all the top 50 cryptocurrencies, leading to some surprising results. Flavio Garcia is well known, at least in our community, because of his efforts in getting into cars, into cloning and attacking keyless and devices for getting into cars. And not any car, typically luxury cars. So, probably if you have a luxury car, Flavio can get into your car if you lose your key, or if he wants to. Anyway, so we have a very good team, and we have been working. Our action is towards the end of its natural life, that in cost actions is 4 years. I think our action has been relatively average. I think we did well 4 years. $500,000, euros is the average. That's the kind of support that you can get from cost. So you decide whether that's enough for your project or not. In our case, it was more than enough to pay for travels, for exchanging students and academics, for organizing meetings and training schools, and leave, hopefully, I think, an important legacy. So why cost is good? Particularly this instrument here called STSM, this is kind of a unique thing to cost, something that you don't find easily in other more classical Horizon 2020 schemes. This stands for short-term scientific missions. Well, the mission is basically a visit, and short-term is not that short-term. It could be up to 3 months. It is very, very convenient to get somebody who has some skills in KU Leuven and send him to visit somebody who has different skills in Birmingham, and then produce together an awesome paper on, for example, the security of implantable medical devices. And of course, I'm not making this up. This happened, and this was probably one of the most successful STSMs of the many we have had. And that's quite unique, and it works very well. Very light paperwork. Demanding that is very simple, 1 page. And after this is finished, you justify that with another page saying what you did, and it's quite nice, quite remarkable. I've been an academic for a long time, and paperwork I don't like, and justifying expenses I don't like, but cost makes this particularly easy and lightweight, and I really like that. So you can get money to organize meetings, typically, more interesting than the one displayed here. And we organize 5 or 6 meetings across these 4 years in exotic places, from Israel to Croatia, Brussels, less exotic, and elsewhere. Another interesting thing that you can do with this kind of cost funding is publish books. So we just yesterday signed a contract with Springer to publish a good book, hopefully. An open access book, so that's costly, but also that will probably kind of guarantee a higher impact in the academic community and elsewhere. it's not about viruses, of course. This is just an image. But you can publish and disseminate with the money that you are provided with, and that is also convenient. This is not trivial also with other funding, classical funding schemes. And the last reason to try to convince you to apply for cost is a difficult scheme. Again, Iona just mentioned between 7 and 12% success rate. In my time, when I was younger and applied 4 years ago, it was closer to 4%, 6%. But still, and in the meantime, I had a number of Horizon 2020 European projects, and I have the impression that with less money in cost, I've done more things, and I've done more valuable things. We have created more outputs, and outputs that will probably, stand the test of time a little bit better than with other funding schemes. So what this image means here is that I will, if you send a proposal dealing with distributed ledgers or blockchain technology, I will very likely be one of these reviewers evaluating your proposal, and I'm very bullish in this technology. I really like this. I think it has a great future, so unless you just send a total mess, of course. If it's good, I will look at it with very positive eyes, and will probably give you a 5 out of 5, imagine. And just to close, I have 20 seconds. In my area, I am a crypto guy, crypto like in cryptography or cryptoanalysis. Many of my colleagues, they don't like people into cryptocurrencies. We don't like for you to use crypto as in cryptocurrencies, because crypto was before us as in cryptography. So the community is split between people thinking that this is a scam, and people thinking like I think this is a revolution. It's not evenly split. It's not 50-50. Also, some projects like IOTA, for example, didn't help. Let's put it mildly. I'm not bullish on IOTA. But there are other projects like Cardano, Zcash, Basic Attention Token, BAT, that have academics and computer security experts in-house, and they are doing great jobs there. So I think that's the way to go. And so I encourage you to apply to this scheme and to put some academics and some cryptographers in your life to work in your cryptocurrency scheme. And that is the end.